Lizzie Hartley stands on her porch, gazing at the sky as mysterious lights dance above Meadowgrove. The townsfolk gather in the streets, pointing and whispering in awe. Sam McCoy, a war veteran, watches the lights from his front steps. His military instincts tell him something is amiss. Sheriff Thomas calls for a town meeting to discuss the strange lights and cattle mutilations. Lizzie and Sam sit next to each other, exchanging concerned glances. Lizzie and Sam visit the farms, examining the mutilated cattle and interviewing the farmers. The wounds are precise and unlike anything they've seen before. Lizzie documents the patterns of the lights, noting their strategic movements. Sam recognizes the significance of these patterns. Lizzie and Sam watch as a small glowing object descends from the sky and lands in a nearby field. They approach the object cautiously. Being with elongated limbs and large almond-shaped eyes emerges from the craft. It introduces itself as Elysian, a member of the Lumina faction. Elysian explains the conflict between the Lumina and the Obscura, revealing that the Obscura are responsible for the cattle mutilations. Lizzie and Sam discuss their options, ultimately deciding to side with the Lumina to protect their town and Earth. Lizzie and Sam rally the townsfolk, explaining the true nature of the conflict and the stakes involved. The townsfolk are initially skeptical, but eventually agree to help. The townsfolk prepare for battle, gathering weapons and supplies. Lizzie and Sam strategize with Elysian, using their knowledge of the town. The first skirmish between the Lumina and Obscura takes place on the outskirts of Meadowgrove. Lizzie and Sam lead the townsfolk in defending their homes. Elysian introduces Lizzie and Sam to advanced Lumina technology, including energy weapons and shields. They train the townsfolk to use these new tools. The Obscura advance on Meadowgrove, their ships casting ominous shadows over the town. Lizzie and Sam rally the townsfolk to hold their ground. The battle intensifies, with the Lumina and townsfolk fighting side by side against the Obscura. The sky is filled with the clash of lights and energy blasts. Lizzie and Sam discover a weakness in the Obscura's defenses and devise a plan to exploit it. They lead a daring assault on the Obscura's main ship. The final push against the Obscura begins. Lizzie, Sam, and the townsfolk fight with renewed determination, their spirits bolstered by the hope of victory. The Obscura's defenses crumble, and their ships begin to retreat. Lizzie and Sam watch as the enemy flees, their hearts filled with relief and pride. In the aftermath of the battle, the townsfolk tend to the wounded and repair the damage. Lizzie and Sam reflect on the events that have transpired. Elysian thanks Lizzie and Sam for their bravery and promises that the Lumina will watch over Earth, ensuring such a conflict never threatens the planet again. The town of Meadowgrove returns to its quiet ways, but the townsfolk never forget the War of the Lights and the heroes who saved them. Lizzie stands on her porch, looking up at the stars. She thinks about the journey she has undertaken and the friends she has made along the way. Sam sits on his front steps, his gaze fixed on the sky. He knows that he will always be ready to defend his town and the world from any threat. Years later, the story of Lizzie and Sam becomes a legend, their names whispered with reverence and awe. The town of Meadowgrove thrives, knowing that it is protected by heroes.